Hi, this is Chef Fox, Chefy Make Chef Pants for Pie Hole Productions, and we're finishing the series on breakfast. We've done butter, we've done whipped cream, we've done syrup, and now it's time for buttermilk pancakes. So we need to talk about how bread rises, and pancakes are technically a quick bread. So quick bread means that it uses something other than yeast to make it rise. So yeast is a little microorganism that eats sugar in the flour, so it eats, the simple starches, well, it farts carbon dioxide, basically. So if you don't have time to make your bread rise with yeast, like if you're making pancakes, you need some other method. So we create a chemical reaction. Quick breads are a chemistry project. You can either use baking soda and something acidic. You put them together and you get carbon dioxide bubbles, like elementary science fair project with the volcano and the baking soda and vinegar. Or you can use baking powder and any kind of a liquid. Baking powder actually has baking soda and originally cream of tartar in it, which is acidic. It's a leftover from winemaking. You put those together, they're crystals, they don't interact. As soon as you get them wet, it bubbles, it makes carbon dioxide. If you go to the pantry, put a little shake of baking powder in a bowl, add a little water, it'll bubble. So these pancakes, buttermilk is acidic, baking soda is a base. You combine them together and you end up with carbon dioxide bubbles. The recipe I'm going to use actually uses buttermilk, baking soda, and baking powder just for good measure to make sure that we get plenty of bubbles and end up with nice, fluffy, beautiful pancakes. So I have a super simple pancake recipe. I've got 1/4 cup of white sugar and then 1 1/4 cups of flour. There's my 1/4 cup of flour. There's my 1 cup of flour. I have a teaspoon of baking soda that's going to react with the buttermilk we add in a few minutes here. Teaspoon of baking powder. It'll react just when it touches the liquid. And I'm going to give it a pinch of salt, even though the recipe doesn't call for a pinch of salt. Bread products never taste quite right without a pinch of salt. Okay, now for the wet ingredients. Next up, we have 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now the correct method for measuring a liquid is to use a liquid measuring cup and to look at it from the side. So you're sure you get an exact measure. Got 1/4 cup of the vegetable oil. Now I need to do 1 1/4 cups of buttermilk. I'm going to give it a quick little shake around in case we've got a little separation. I'll do the 1/4 cup first. The cup first and then the 1/4 cup, since apparently I missed it the first try, going past a 1/4 cup. There's 1 cup. Take it easy on this one. One 1/4 cups. 1 egg. Of shell in there. Now the recipe did not call for any vanilla, but it definitely needs a little bit of vanilla, so I'm going to put about 1/4 teaspoon, just eyeball it in there. Okay, going to mix it all up and then we are going to be ready to go with our pancakes. Give that a mix. Now this buttermilk is slightly thick. It is a cultured buttermilk, so I wouldn't call it as thick as yogurt, but it's definitely thicker than milk right out of a jug. Okay. Looks like we've got the lumps out, but it doesn't have to be perfect for pancakes. And I'm going to preheat my pan. I'm going to oil my pan. I'm just going to give it a little drop of canola oil. I prefer to actually use liquid oil over oil spray. I feel like the oil spray gets up on the edges of the pan and it bakes on and ends up making the edge of the pan kind of sticky where it burns on. So I take that little drip of oil. I'm just going to give it a nice little light coating around. And I can actually save this on my spoon holder, and I can go back over the pan again with it a little bit later. So my pan, I think, is preheated. I'm going to do a tester pancake and see how it turns out. So I'm just going to take a scoop, and I'm going to use just a scoop for each of the pancakes. They'll turn out to be a good size and fairly standard in size and shape if I do it this way. So now, how do you know when your pancake is cooked? Right now, it's glistening and shiny on top, so I know that it is still very wet. When it's ready to be flipped, it'll start bubbling, not just around the edges, but also into the middle, and especially around the edges, it'll start looking a little bit drier, like the water is evaporated out. So I've gotten a little bit of bubbling there in the middle as well. And it looks like we're ready to flip. Made a mess, that happens. But it cleans up nice and easy. Clean up those edges. After I get my temperature down, the next pancake probably won't do that quite as badly. I'm going to turn down the temperature a little bit and cook it a little slower. One quick little hint for you: if you do get some undercooked pancake batter on your spatula, make sure you wash it, because that'll get stuck to everything. You'll try to get in under the pancake and it'll stick because it's got something sticky on it. Works that way. So this pancake is looking fluffy and delicious. Definitely good to go. 100% primo breakfast. We've got pancake, homemade butter. Oh my goodness, I'm going to shave off a piece of that homemade butter here. I've had it in the fridge, obviously. Good lot of the butter. And some of that brown sugar and cinnamon syrup we made. See how nice and thick it's gotten? Since it's not boiling temperature anymore. A little bit of that. We just went out and picked some fresh blackberries, so I'm going to actually throw a couple blackberries on there because blackberries are delicious. And some of that homemade whipped cream on top of that. One last blackberry on top. That's delicious. Definitely looking forward to this bite. Got some butter, some whipped cream, some blackberry, and pancake all together with the syrup. That is really, really good. That is, in fact, delish. Go Hawks. Okay, I wish you could have seen this. I went to give my wife a bite and dropped a syrupy, big, buttery, whipped creamy chunk of pancake right on the camera, which is absolutely not so awesome. But I do want to talk about pancake variations a little bit. You can do pancakes without buttermilk, so if you don't have buttermilk, don't worry about it. You can find recipes online for pancakes that just use baking powder and they don't take the baking soda and the buttermilk. One variation I really, really like: cornmeal pancakes. So you can look up cornbread pancakes, cornmeal pancakes. You'll find lots and lots of recipes. And that is particularly delicious with molasses, with honey, with jelly, or the brown sugar syrup that we made here on the previous video. So I'd encourage you to branch out a little bit. Oatmeal pancakes are wonderful. You can put apple and cinnamon in them. Pancakes are a great way for you to start experimenting with a recipe and learn to express yourself a little bit with food.